upright in locked position for more than 5 minutes. Last Friday, a virus ambushed her. She assures you that if she looks a little shaky, it's not due to nerves, but rather not eating for 5 days.
Oh.
Judith's speech, The Power of Imagination, came to her during an acupuncture session a few weeks ago. She looks forward to sharing it with us this morning. Please welcome competent communicator Judith Susky.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, what would you do if one day, as you were walking into your office building, you heard a gunshot? The next thing you knew, you were coming to in excruciating pain, under the bright lights and in the chaos of an emergency room. The doctor standing next to your bed says, "You've been shot in the back. If you live, you will never walk again." What would you do? This exact thing happened to a woman named Vera Freiling. I first encountered Vera at a 4-day symposium on the use of mind, using your mind to heal. She was one of the speakers. It was in San Francisco in the early 1980s. The title of the name of the symposium was The Power of Imagination. This was one of the first large conferences that really addressed the power of visualization and imagery. The big guns in the world of alternative healing, hypnotherapy, and holistic health, all of them were there, and Vera was one of them. They came to share their wisdom and expand ours. And this is what Vera told us. When she woke up in that ER in excruciating pain, she couldn't even stop to sleep. Her pain was so intense, the noise was so confusing. They finally moved her to an ICU, and it's continued. She didn't give up. She had her friends bring her classical music, and she began to listen to music 24 hours a day, every day, until she left the hospital. To the light, airy, delicate passages, she saw the nerve endings begin to heal, and the nerves begin to mend. The blood begin to flow again. To the strong, bold passages like Beethoven's Ninth Ode to Joy, she saw the bones and muscles getting stronger and her body getting straighter and getting more and more solid. 3 months after the gunshot, Vera Freiling walked out of the hospital.
Wow.
The mind is a very powerful healer. And you'd like to think that was the big thing that happened in her life, but it wasn't. She was born Jewish in Germany before World War II. Her father disappeared at one point, and during the war, when she was going to go to college, she went anyway, incognito, and made it. It was as if she had a repellent around her and the Nazis couldn't see her. Along the line, she got married, had a son, and was planning to immigrate to the United States when her husband was killed in an automobile accident. And while she was doing her residency in psychiatry at the University of Minnesota, her son hung himself. And she kept on going. Now that's a pretty good start for somebody who was going to have all of that to walk out of a hospital when she was told she never would again. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, first of all, I think it's the most powerful story I've ever heard about the power of the mind to heal. When we choose to be a part of our own medical team, and this is why, when we move inside ourselves and find a way to work in the way Vera did, we can do things doctors never could do. They don't have that skill. It's not like you do it instead of, it's you help, assist, and choose to do it. Secondly, Vera played a very important part in my life. She put me to sleep for years, every night. I used her cassette tapes back then, that's all we had, but I used her cassette tapes to drown out the sound of the city outside my apartment and to drown out the mind chatter in my head from my clients and the pressures of my job. Vera's rich, soothing, German accented voice, so mellow, you could almost heal from just listening to her. And for me, this was amazing. Eventually, I could just turn on the cassette, and within 3 minutes I was gone. She had a gift. But probably the biggest reason why I've chosen to tell you about this story today is that in looking back at this symposium, I realized something big. It totally changed my life. It totally changed my life. I changed my career, I changed my outlook. Beforehand, I had been doing meditation, dabbling in this and that in California. That was the big thing back then. And it was working for me. But the power of imagination was the big aha. It was a, oh my God, you can look at what can happen if you just allow your mind to go beyond the barriers. That's the power of imagination. I'm going to end where I began. If one morning, as you were walking into the building where you work, you heard a gunshot, then the next thing you knew, you were coming to in excruciating pain, in the bold light and chaos of an emergency room. When the doctor standing by her bed says, "You've been shot in the back and you may never, if you live, you will never walk again," what would you do?